Hello everybody, it is Talking Hands time again, and welcome to my bullet journal for 2022. Um, let's just jump in and start with some basics. If you are setting up your bullet journal first, you'll need a bullet journal. And typically a bullet journal is a dotted grid, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It can be a blank page, it can be whatever you want. It can be any size you prefer. Mine is in a size A5, which is a standard like 5x7 notebook size. And this is Lecterm 1917 is the brand. Yeah, it's a nice hardcover faux leather bound with the elastic, and it also has two bookmarks, two ribbons in it. And then it came with stickers, which I went ahead and stuck on and wrote here. It came with multiple stickers. I just picked two. So this is my 2022 year. I don't have the best handwriting, but I tried. And then on the side, oops, let me put it that way, my 2022 bullet journal. So that once it's on a bookshelf, I can read what year it was. For some reason, I can't find my one from 2019, which was the same size, because last year's was a different size, so it had a different size grid. So I wanted to go with the format I used in 2019, but I couldn't find that one. So some supplies you may need. It's all up to personal preference, so whatever you feel you need, you need. But some things that are nice to have is a straight edge ruler. Doesn't have to be metal, can be plastic, can be wood, whatever it is, as long as it has a nice straight edge. I like to plan out all my I like to plan everything out in pencil first. So I have a mechanical pencil here. It's just a Bic Matic grip, and then these erasers sometimes don't always work, or sometimes I use them all up, so I also have a retractable eraser that just comes like this, and then I can slide it down and up. It used to be full, as you can see. I've used quite a bit of it. I've had this for a couple years. It lasts for a long time. And then some pens you can do in color or black and white. I prefer black. I have my Micron 08 from what is the name of this? Sakura. This is a Pigma Micron 08. Nice thick lines. And then I have this one, which the writing is all rubbed off, and I believe this was an 02 or an 03. And this is also from Sakura Pigma Micron. And then just in case you want something thicker, or you're good at brush calligraphy, you can do a brush pen. This is my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen in black. It has a nice brush tip on it. I'm left-handed and I suck at doing brush writing. I think that's what I used to write on my cover, but you know, it's all up to you. Alright, so start in the front. There's a place where you can write your information in case it is lost. It also has some things. It says a please return to in multiple languages. It looks like it is in German, English, and French. I believe this is a German company that makes these. And then in the front, they come pre-made with a contents or index. So it has a column with lines for page numbers, and then the theme or topic or whatever is on that page. I've already started filling mine in, as you can see, so we'll go over that. I usually do it after I've planned everything out, which I already planned everything out ahead of time. So let's go ahead. So like I said, last year I had a different bullet journal, and so this year I have this one, and I needed to refigure out my layouts because of a difference in size grid. So I went ahead and counted all the grids and wrote it all out, and then I have this page in the front that kind of tells me, in case I want to remember, like, where's the halfway point, and so that when I'm planning in the future, I have something to refer back to. So far you can see this one is 26 dots apart wide, and the halfway point is at 13. And then since that's an odd number, I decided if I wanted to divide it into 4s, I can do it into 6s. And there are multiple ways I can do this. This just lets me know what I could do if I prefer to. So if I wanted, I could bring it in one dot and make it 6 by 6. And then if we go along this length, I always like to do the lines to tell me how far I measured. And then this is 37, which is also another odd number, which I'm not particularly happy about because it means there is no actual center vertically, but that's okay. So what I can do is I measured here to here, and this is 18 spaces. I'm sure this is more than you really wanted to know, but in case you have one of these, and then I left a one space gap and measured another 18. So basically I know that if I want to put a halfway line, I can either do it 19 down or 18, doesn't really matter, and then half of that is 9 in case I want to divide it into quarters. And so I keep that as a reference. Like I said, I planned it all out in pencil first. I just smudged it right there. Oops. There's another problem with being left-handed. Alright, so the first layout is my year at a glance. And my year at a glance, I have done all the months of the year, and then in the middle I have these spaces to write notes for important dates. And then I'll probably highlight them on the calendar or circle them, depending on what I feel like. And then each of the months is in a box. So I'll go ahead and get started on this, and then I'll speed it up because you don't want to watch me fill in all of this. But I'm going in with the title, and this year I'm just being not very fancy with any of my titles. I'm just writing them all out in print. But year at a glance. And then I'll make my first box for January. They, if you want the dimensions, they are 7 by, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 by 7, theoretically, underneath the title, or underneath the, the name of the month. I have one row for the Monday through, Sunday through Saturday, and then I have all the dates of the month. I like to do bold things like that with the big pen, and I'll probably do the lines in the middle with the big pen, and then I'll come out and write the dates all in with the fine pen. So let me zip through that, and we'll be back once it's all done. Alright, so here we go. I have my year at a glance all filled in. So I went January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Going back and forth that way, 2 months that are next to each other. I can write the dates in. Yeah, and then once that's all filled in, you want to go back in, and this is another great reason why to have this eraser, or even like one of those pink erasers, you know, a freestanding eraser. Go back in and erase all the pencil marks because it makes it look a little bit cleaner. Down at the bottom, there's this space left, so I was like, well, what can I put there? And I made a section. I'm just going to make some nice big lines. New section. Got a hair on there. That delineates, hey, this is a new area. And this area is for future dates in. So, you know, as the year progresses, and if like something happens annually, I can write down what date it'll be happening in the 2023, or, you know, towards the end of the month and I want to make plans for the coming year, I can start writing those in there. Page. Now we're going to get into some funner stuff. And I like the word funner. So here we have 3 of my favorite pages: my wish list, my book movies to see, and the books I read. Now for some reason when I was planning these, I wrote movie to see and I read. I went back and added the extra S because, you know, you gotta have that in there. Like I said, I am not being calligraphy on these. I'm actually just printing it out, and I moved the wish list over a little bit because I realized I didn't center it very well. Not that I was trying to, but you know, it looks pretty good that way. And then just put a box around it. And then since these are big grids, I'm just doing it like so. I mentioned in my flip through for 2020 that I had a wish list page and I didn't have anything written on it except for one item because I kept it in my phone. So I went through my phone and I pulled out all the things I have on my wish list in there, and I filled. And then I just have little check boxes so that when I get the item, I can come along and check it, or I can cross it out if I decide later. I'm not going to fill all those in because you don't need to know what's on my wish list. I mean, maybe you want to know what's on my wish list. I can tell you. Not necessary, but yeah, I would just go over those with the thin point mark pen and fill those in. Again, the brush tip for a nice thick line. And down here, movies to see. And like last time, I have the movies listed, and then as I watch them, I'll put a box around them and in the box. And I try, when I do things like that, I try to correspond the color that I fill in the box to the color of the month. So each month in my theme, in my bullet journal theme for each month, and I try and correspond those so I can look back and go, oh yeah, I watched this in this month. And then I'll just show you, I would write these out like so. You can write them smaller if you want. I kind of wrote them kind of big, but I'm obviously gonna run out of room because these pages are much smaller than my other ones. So I'm trying to stagger them in and fill them in. And if I get really ambitious and watch a lot of movies, then I will definitely have to fill them in between. But right now I have them spaced out so that there is room to make a nice box around them and one line space in between them. But there's some of the movies on my wish list, or movies to see. And a lot of these are older movies. They're just kind of like, oh yeah, that was a good movie. I heard that was a good movie. I want to remember to watch that. And then some of them are also movies that are coming out, and I'm like, oh, I saw a preview for like the movie, the 355, I think it was called. I saw a preview for that, and I was like, oh, that looks like a really good movie. I want to see. Let me write it down so I'll remember when it comes out on video or when it's actually released. Remember that that's a movie I want to go see. it helps because otherwise I'll forget. And I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to see that movie. I never did. So books. Last year I didn't do so good on reading. This year I want to make that better. So I am hoping to fill this in and have a whole bookcase. But last month I had vertical or horizontal shelves. This month I'm going with vertical. So I have 3 categories and I'm going to make them go across the page that way is what I'm trying to say. I'm like, what am I trying to say? So these are things that if you like things to look nice, this would be a good time to use your straight edge. I don't care. I actually prefer a little more of an organic look to mine. And I might back in, if I have a brown marker, I might come in afterwards with a brown marker and sort of make this look like a wooden bookcase. But for now, I'm the shape, and it took a little finagling because it is an odd number and they don't go all the way to the edges. But yeah, let me finish drawing this in and I will talk to you about it a little bit more. Okay, so I was realizing as I did this, I could have turned it sideways and made it horizontal bookshelves, but I kind of like the idea of them being vertical, so it's going to be a stack of books, and as the year progresses my stacks will get taller and I will feel more accomplished. I really threw that one off, but I have a section for comics because single issue comics and graphic novels, and I'll probably put them both in the same section because they're both comics, just one's in a graphic combined and one is single issues. So yeah, we'll do comics here. In the middle section we have fiction, and so I'm already reading a fiction book and I'm just gonna go ahead and write that. It's one I started last year and I don't know, I got tired of it and then I haven't been reading and then I put it aside. So as I'm reading it, I'm just going to write it in here. And then when I fill it in, just like I did with the movies, and then I'll have this beautiful stack of books. I'm also reading fiction books, which is this last column. My pen is actually... Okay, here's a little tip. When you use these pens, see if it for me. Come on, focus. Anyway, the tip is wearing down. But yeah, as you use it, some of these, if you apply too much pressure, the tip will wear down and there will be no nib left. But as I was saying, I already have 2 books. Two nonfiction books I'm reading, so I'm just gonna write those in. And if it has a really long title like this first one, I kind of crammed it in here the best I could, trying to keep it on one line. But it's going over a little bit. And that's okay. I could have shortened the title, but I didn't want to. Maybe in the future I will. And then I have one digital book on my phone, and so I'm going to write that one in here. It's also a nonfiction. And then hopefully this will remind me to read it, because I got some books on my phone and I started reading them and I kind of forgot about them. So I hope to, by the end of the year, have these all filled in. I think each month when I do my layout for the month, I will give you a preview of how things are going. But those are things, yeah, these are long-term things I wish to buy over sometime during the year. These are movies I want to see and books I want to have read. Not that I want to see, but have already read. So once they're finished. But yeah. This is a time of the month tracker. If you know what that means, then it is what it is. I could go over it a little bit to show you how I planned it out. So let me really quickly fill this in, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I have this all filled out. So along the top I have each of the months, months, January, February, March, April, May through December. And then each column represents the days of the month, so you can see they end at different points because each month has a different number of days. And then along the side I have the dates, 1 through 31. And then when it is that time of the month, I will mark in that section with, markings to let me know. Sometimes I will go ahead and draw pencil lines across to help me keep the dates straight, because it's easy to tell when you get over here, but when you're over here, it's kind of hard to tell what date you're on. So yeah, that's that. Alright, and then just a couple more spreads left, and that'll be my bullet journal set up until I have to set up for January, which will be coming very soon. So since I am self-employed, I have a page set up for monthly incomes. I guess I should have written it in first. Because I have multiple streams of income that fluctuate from month to month, and this way I can get a overview of how things are going from one month to another. And just to give you an idea what it's gonna look like, this ribbon is in the way. Alright, so I've kind of made a little U box for each month. And then I have my three categories, well, I have three categories of income. Two of them remain and one is a miscellaneous. So January, and then I have income from Rover, which is my main source of income. I'm a pet sitter. And then Etsy, which I have an Etsy shop that sells t-shirts and art and friendship bracelets. And then a section for miscellaneous, because I do have a Redbubble shop, and then I also make money from other various things. So yeah, so I will write the monthly total from each category, and then a grand total for each month will go in the box to the side. And that's how that's going to be, so that way I can at a glance figure out how much I make each month. And then when, people want to know, because there's always inevitably somebody who, some reason, for a bank or for whatever, needs to know what your average monthly income is. So this way I will have it easily accessible. This might fluctuate a little bit. And if I end up with more sources of income, then I will definitely have to break it down more. But for now, this is what it is looking like. And yeah, we'll play with that in the future. I won't fill in the whole thing right now, because you get the idea. Alright, and then lastly, for me anyway, you can have other things in here. That's the lovely thing about bullet journals. You can put in whatever you want. So we're going to ignore this because this is my January spread. We're just going to cover that up. You can't see that yet. But finally, my last thing in the yearly section is my word of the year. So I used to do resolutions, and then I got tired of resolutions, and I'm like, I'm going to set goals for the year. And then the last couple years, those goals have been really vague. And so I've just decided to have a word of the year. You know, something to live by and inspire me. I think 2019 was my year of doing. And this year's going to be very similar, I feel. As I feel, last year's word of the year was growth. I wanted to grow in a lot of places. This year's word is live. I want to live. I want to remind myself daily to live my life. Not just think about living my life, not dream about living my life, but actually get out there and doing it. Getting up every day and doing something, living my life. And then I have some quotes that I've put in here that will help inspire me through the rest of the year. I have live life to the fullest, live your own life, live for yourself, live, laugh, love, because, you know, who doesn't need all those, and live out loud. And as I come up with more, I will add them in here and I will sprinkle them throughout the year in my journal to remind me to live my life, because what is the point if not to live, you know, and live each day to the fullest. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a great big thumbs up. It's always so hard to do a thumbs up from this angle. If you enjoyed my content and want to see more, please hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell right next to it so you get notified every time I upload a video, which is generally Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Here in the United States anyway. I mean, depending on your time zone, they might be a day before or a day after. And yeah, I hope, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this. And until my next video, I will see you later. Take care and live your life. Bye.